All right, let's talk about that feeling. You know the one, that gut-sinking feeling when you've got the degree, you've tossed the cap in the air, but then your first day on the job feels like you're trying to read a completely different language. Well, today, we're going to break down a really powerful message from someone who's been right there in your shoes. And trust me, he's got some amazing advice on how to bridge that massive gap between what you learned in the textbook and what you actually do in the real world.
And this is where it all starts, with this piece of raw truth. What you learn in books, that is up to books only. It's a blunt, honest reminder that your education is absolutely the foundation, but it's just the starting line. The real, nitty-gritty learning, that kicks in the second you step out of that classroom and onto the job site. So who's the person behind this powerful advice? Well, he's an industry veteran, someone who's really seen it all. And he's got a special message for what he calls freshers. You know, all of us who are standing at the very beginning of our careers, probably feeling a little overwhelmed and, let's be honest, a lot lost.
Now, you might think this kind of wisdom comes from a fancy TED Talk or some best-selling book, right? Nope. This comes from a simple, straight-to-the-point YouTube video by a professional named Bukya Vijandar. And you know what? Don't let the simple setup fool you. This is a guy on a mission to help new grads figure out the often choppy waters of that very first job. This brings us right to what I kind of call the uh-oh moment. You know what I'm talking about? You're in your first big meeting, you're on your first real project, and you suddenly realize all those formulas and theories you memorized, they don't quite prepare you for the messy, unpredictable, and frankly chaotic reality of the working world. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? You did the work, you walked the stage, you've got that expensive piece of paper in your hand, so now what? How do you actually turn all that knowledge you worked so hard for into real results that matter?
And just look at this breakdown. It says it all. On one side, you've got your textbook world. It's neat, it's tidy, you've got clean formulas and perfect ideal scenarios. But then, on the other side, you've got the raw reality of the industry. Messy applications, a million unexpected variables, and a constant need for hands-on problem solving. It's like they're two completely different universes.
So, who is this guy that's offering to help us find our way? Well, his credibility doesn't come from a fancy title or a long list of academic papers, oh no. It was forged in the fire of real-world, hands-on experience. 15 years. Just let that number sink in for a second. 15. We're not talking about some recent grad with a bunch of theories. No, this is a guy who spent a decade and a half, literally in the trenches, learning things the hard way so that you don't have to. And get this, look at the industries he's worked in. From the gritty, tough world of cement dust to the complex science of fertilizer plants and all the way to the high-stakes, high-pressure environment of offshore gas. I mean, come on! This isn't just experience. This is a masterclass in adapting and thinking on your feet. Okay, so we've laid out the problem and we've met our guide. Now, let's get to the most important part, the solution. How exactly does he plan on building a bridge across this huge gap between the textbook and the actual job? Here's his promise, straight up, in his own words. I'll teach books to industry knowledge. Think about that for a second. It's not about throwing away your degree. It's about learning how to translate it. It's about finally connecting the why you learn in a book to the how you need in the real world. So how's he going to do it? Through something he's calling the digital classroom. It's his answer to this age-old problem. A free, online platform where he can just share his 15 years of hard-won experience and help new grads make that huge, and often terrifying, leap from theory to practice. And that brings us to the final part of his message. Because this really isn't just an announcement for some class. It's a personal invitation from a guy who's been where you are, and he genuinely wants to help you succeed. It's a call to action for anyone who's ever felt that disconnect between what they learned and what they really need to know.
And you know, here's the best part of all. There are no strings attached, no fees, no hidden costs, no crazy sign-up forms. It's just a simple, open invitation to learn from his experience completely free. That says everything about his passion for helping the next generation.
So, what's the big takeaway here? What should you walk away with? Well, first off, that gap, it's real and it's totally okay. It's not a sign that you're failing, it's just part of the game. It's how we learn. Second, experience is the only thing that's going to build a bridge across that gap. And finally, and this one is so important, you've got to find your mentors. Find the people like Bukya Vijender who've already walked the path and are willing to hold up a lantern for you.
Which really leaves us with one final question to think about. If the textbook is only the start, and the classroom is just the entry point, where does the real learning, your real learning, actually begin?